Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play BlazBlue Calamity trigger. In the last episode we had a very interestingly cryptic finale to Jin Kisaragi's story, in which Jin, the hero of Ikaruga, fought against one of the 6 heroes, the individual known as Hakuben. But whether that encounter was a dream, hallucination, or something more besides remains to be seen. However, the time has come to move on to the next chapter in this Let's Play of BlazBlue Calamity trigger. A tale of none other than Lieutenant Noel Vermillion of the Novus Orbis Librarian. Noel Stories, Lost Child. The room is always the same. A white room. Everything's white. The floor, the ceiling, the walls, the bed, even the clothes I'm wearing. This could be a hospital chamber, or dare I say a sanitarium or lunatic asylum, perhaps, or maybe a different chamber altogether. I'm waiting there, but I'm not sure why. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I never know what's going on. Sometimes that worries me. It's always like this. That's when they appear again. I don't know who they are, but something tells me the room is theirs, so I try to talk to them.
Where is this?
I move my mouth, but nothing comes out. Their faces are fuzzy. I can't make them out. I desperately try to call out.
Where am I? Why am I here? Who am I?
And, we can only see one person there, but, that person is, appears to be quite short, wearing a, somewhat of a frilled dress with, twin pigtails. Very long, distinctive pigtails at that. Curious silhouette.
Please, tell me.
But they never hear me. They never ever do. Nor do they answer you, Noel. And it appears she was having a dream, or a memory within the dream.
What? A message?
Yet Noel is being pulled rather painfully back to the present.
Yes! Excuse me! This is Lieutenant Noel Vermillion speaking!
Indeed, of the Praetorian Guard of the NOL. There she is, decked out in her complete NOL attire, as befitting of a Praetorian Guard.
You sound very surprised. Did something happen?
Yeah, there is a lot of static on the receiver there.
No, it's nothing. There's no way I can tell him I was taking a nap.
Yeah, that wouldn't bode well for the reputation of the Praetorian Guard.
Well, that's beside the point. Debrief me on the status of your mission.
Seems like the Superior is already well aware of this point, although technically speaking, Jin Kisaragi is Noel's superior, of course. He's gone AWOL.
I am currently investigating the whereabouts of Major Jin Kisaragi, who is headed towards Kagutsuchi. If possible, I am to detain the subject and bring him back to headquarters, sir.
Yeah, looks like the NOL are prepared to detain him for possible desertion. Of course, his reasons are understandably his own.
Remember, only detain the subject if you think it's possible. Also, the intelligence department will be joining the investigation.
The intelligence department of the NOL, eh?
The intelligence department, sir?
His name is Hazama. According to the intelligence, he should be in town already.
So the NOL already have a man on the inside. Interesting to know.
Hazama.
Also, regarding Ragna the Bloodege.
Ah yes, the SS class criminal known as the Grim Reaper.
Commander, I'm losing you. Could you repeat that one more time, please?
If you see Ragna the Bloodege, do not engage the subject. You are to observe his movements. I repeat, do not engage the subject.
Yeah. Ragna's drivability and his Azure Grimoire are a pretty powerful combo.
It got cut off. It won't connect. What should I do?
Looks like the signal has been lost.
Lieutenant Vermillion, we will be arriving at Kagutsuchi port number 5 momentarily. Please prepare for landing.
Ah yes, I forgot to mention, for those of you who have never played any sort of Final Fantasy game, not that this is Final Fantasy, but the point I'm trying to make here is that Noel Vermillion is on an airship, one of the NOL's airborne vessels, but curious thing about this particular vessel is that it too is actually powered by the ability of Ars Magus. In fact, this could technically be referred to as an Ars Magus vehicle.
Oh no! I need to hurry! Beautiful. This is the 13th hierarchical city, Kagutsuchi.
Indeed, and we can finally get a glimpse of it from orbit, as opposed to looking up from below. But and there are a couple of other outposts in the nearby distance, but Kagutsuchi itself is, well, any hierarchical city is pretty impressive to say the least, and you can see the various tiers scattered here and there. The sewers, of course, being the very lowest depths and definitely underground, although of course we know that the cauldron is located at the heart of the city, with the Librarium Cathedral at the very top, with the spire there. And somewhere around there is, of course, Orient Town, although I don't really have a map of Kagutsuchi itself, so I don't honestly know where exactly it is, but I'm guessing it's on the left-hand side, and because it's a heavily bustling sort of area there, and there are a few sort of highways and pathways scattered here and there at the base of the hierarchical city. And it's time to save.
So, where should I go?
And unlike Ragna the Bloodege, Noel Vermillion doesn't exactly have a clear idea of the layout of hierarchical cities, let alone that of Kagutsuchi. And it is actually nighttime, believe it or not. But we finally made it to the port with a giant clock in the background, just behind Noel.
Pardon me, might you be Lieutenant Noel Vermillion?
And there's our contact from intelligence. the man called Hazama, who is wearing a, that actually looks, to be dressed up like he's some kind of hard-boiled detective with a fedora, a shirt with a interesting tie, a long coat with quite a few fair share of belt buckles and straps, with a chain on his right side, I should say. And interestingly enough, he has green hair, and his eyes are shut.
Yes, that would be me.
Ah, excellent. I keep getting static on the radio in this city. I came to speak to you directly, otherwise we'd have no way to communicate.
Yeah, his manner of speaking, as well as the demeanor that he's giving off, suggests that he is, by nature, a fairly laid-back sort of individual.
Thank you.
And again, he is a member of the intelligence department, so that's probably to be expected.
I'm Hazama from the intelligence department. The commander has instructed me to deliver my report to you.
Yeah, in the hierarchy of the NOL, Noel is a lieutenant, obviously, but in the intelligence department, Hazama is a captain, I believe is his current rank. So he's fairly high up on the pecking order. Of course, Noel being part of the Praetorian Guard and previously being attached directly to Jin Kisaragi doesn't necessarily answer to Hazama as such, but they have their own little, dare I say, jurisdictions of sorts within their little fiefdoms in the NOL.
Understood. Nice to meet you.
Even though they work for the same organization, they have their own sort of priorities.
First, regarding your mission, the Kisaragi case. The military is treating the matter with utmost care and secrecy.
Given the fact that one of their most prestigious officers has gone rogue, well, not in the conventional sense either, that's, yeah, not surprising.
A cover-up, right?
It seems that as absent-minded as Noelle can be, she's pretty switched on when it comes to these sorts of things.
That's right. Frankly, if word spread that the hero of Ikaruga disobeyed direct orders, chaos would ensue.
Sounding a little bit too pleased about that. And also, you're wearing a pair of fingerless gloves.
In addition, the NOL has raised the alert level to D here in Kagutsuchi. But in spite of that, several groups have snuck into the city.
Yes, I believe Jin was telling Tager about that during his sojourn through Orientown.
One of those groups is Sector 7. I'm sure I don't need to explain our relationship with them.
Indeed you don't, Hazama. Because we already know.
As of now, we don't know what they're doing here, but I think it's fairly obvious that their presence isn't good news for us. So please, be careful.
And Hazama is finally adopting a more serious pose, his easygoing smile vanishing for the time being.
Are you saying Major Kisaragi's disappearance has something to do with Sector 7?
That's definitely a possibility as far as Hazama is concerned.
Correct. There was the incident at Ikaruga. And one more thing. It seems many vigilantes have also snuck into town.
Ah yes, bounty hunters, all of whom are after the gigantic bounty on Ragna's head, although I'm certain that a few of them would possibly be interested in Ragna's Azure Grimoire, if they're interested.
An information leak.
not so much a leak as the wanted posters that are scattered about here and there throughout the, I don't know, the entirety of Kagutsuchi.
I'm afraid so. Now that everyone knows Grim Reaper Ragna's made an appearance in Kagutsuchi, bounty hunters are coming in from everywhere like a gold rush.
Isn't that what the NOL wanted in the first place, so they didn't have to dirty their hands fighting Ragna directly after they, I don't know, lost several hierarchical cities to him in the first place?
Naturally, the vigilantes are after the Grim Reaper's head, but depending on the circumstances, they can be a hindrance to us. So watch out for them.
Yeah, they could actually end up getting in the way of Noel trying to rendezvous with Jin Kisaragi. Although, that may not actually be entirely a bad thing.
Understood.
And also... Is he a friend of yours?
Wait a minute. He?
He? Who are you referring to?
That is a very good question, but it's definitely someone nearby in the vicinity.
That boy is looking at us. Right over there.
Wait a minute. A boy?
Right over... where? He looks sort of familiar.
Indeed he does, because we have seen him before.
Long time no see, Noel.
Yes, it's, Carl Clover. I believe that, Jin Kisaragi crossed paths with him, as well.
Aren't you... Carl?
Indeed he is. Of course, it's understandable that these two would remember each other, given the fact that, the two of them, along with Jin Kisaragi, graduated from the, NOL's military academy, of all places.
What are you doing here? I heard you left the academy, but why?
Well, all kinds of reasons. But more importantly, I was hoping you could tell me a few things.
In other words, Carl is looking for information.
I'll see if I can help. What did you need?
I need information on Ragna the Bloodege.
Because, you may not want to admit this, Noel, but Carl has made a, career choice since last you met.
I'm a vigilante now, and I want to capture him. Since you're from the NOL, you must know something about him, right?
Yeah, remember what I was saying about certain vigilantes being interested in not just the bounty, but also Ragna's Azure Grimoire? Carl is definitely one of those few.
I'm sorry, Carl. That's a secret, so I can't tell you.
Of course, you would probably know this if, since you were previously in the NOL's academy.
I see.
But if there's anything else I can help you with...
Noel, trying to be as helpful as best you can, but, don't think it's going to quite work out.
No, it's okay. I guess there's no helping it then.
I'm sorry.
I guess there really is nothing else I can do. If you can't tell me about the Reaper...
Lieutenant, watch out!
Yeah, Carl has gone full combat mode.
Oh, she dodged it! I didn't expect anyone to interfere, sis.
Carl, what happened to you?
A lot.
Nothing. If you don't want to talk, I just have to persuade you a little more. You do the same thing in the NOL, don't you?
Yeah, believe it or not, Noel isn't really that involved in the NOL's more unscrupulous aspects, which isn't necessarily done her any favors.
That's not...
This won't do. I'm sorry. But combat is not my expertise. I must take my leave here.
And Hazuma's chief character trait, because he's from the intelligence department, he doesn't like fighting in the slightest. And so he does what he does best, which is run and hide in the corner like a complete coward.
I didn't wish for things to turn out this way. But I guess there's not much choice. I'm coming for you, Noel.
Something tells me that you would have done the same whether or not she actually told you about Ragna the Bloodege. Not that she herself knows that much. First encounter, Noel Vermillion versus Carl Clover. Accompanied by the automaton marionette Nirvana.
The wheel of fate is turning.
Let's get this started.
Rebel. 1. Action!
Time for a bit of chain revolver action, methinks. It's time for spam. Oh. Yeah. Try and get some distance with Bulwark.
Can you dodge?
Optic barrel!
Nope. Managed to
Optic barrel!
you and your little toys.
Oh no! Optic barrel! No! Dad! No way! It just started! Run! Jump! Barrel! Go! Hoodoo! Run! Optic barrel!
He's blocking there, which is really annoying. Ooh, and Nirvana with
Can you dodge? Can you dodge?
curse you, Clover.
Can you dodge?
With the bottle flitter. Oh, stay away from Nirvana. Stay away from Nirvana. I was hoping to get Carl with that one, but nope. Yeah, and I apologize for my controller being incredibly loud. Yeah.
Can you dodge?
Apparently you cannot. Not this time. Ooh! Giant gear! Giant gear! Giant gear! That is distortion drive right there. But fortunately Noel has one of her own. Nope.
Where are you?
Yep, her guns can morph into a chain gun. And a rocket launcher.
You're far stronger than I expected. I'm afraid I must take my leave here.
Well, I wasn't planning on using a distortion drive, but since you were, since you showed me yours, it was fair of me to reciprocate in kind.
Carl, wait!
There's no need to chase him. You're on duty, after all.
You, certainly took your sweet time there, Hazuma.
But...
Let it go. Now is not the time. He is most likely being consumed already.
Consumed? By what?
Consumed?
The marionette that was with him is most likely a Nox Nictoris, much like your own weapons.
Now, there is a term that is actually going to play an incredible role in BlazBlue Calamity Trigger, the words Nox Nictoris. Basically, that refers to a, long story short, it refers to a series of very unique, what are known as, I believe, event weapons, or possibly causality weapons, or so on and so forth. As Hazama suggests, the marionette Nirvana is one such Nox Noctoris, as are Noel's handguns, Bolverk, and probably, yeah, there is a third example of a Nox Noctoris, one wielded by Jin Kisaragi himself, the katana Yukianasa. It's also one of the Nox Noctoris.
That particular Nox works well at dampening the wielder's sense of fear, but it places a great strain on their mind at the same time.
And in Carl's case, he believes that the Nox Noctoris is in fact his sister, although he may not be entirely wrong about that, because there is a very real possibility that the soul or personality of his sister was instilled into the Nox Noctoris, or perhaps his sister was actually converted into the Nox Noctoris itself.
But one should expect that much from a weapon created during the Dark War. That marionette is probably suppressing the child's emotions, except his hunger for battle.
So the Nox Noctoris were created during the battle with the Black Beast, eh? Interesting bit of trivia there, Hazama.
All the more reason to stop him.
Unfortunately, severing Carl's bond with Nirvana is actually going to be far easier said than done.
I've already told you. You have a mission to complete.
Indeed, and unfortunately, Noel, if you don't complete it, you'll be in the same boat as Jin Kisaragi, as far as the Noel are concerned.
Besides, it's not easy to free someone from that Nox's shackles.
How do you know so much about the Nox Noctoris? I thought that information was classified.
True to any outsider, but Hazama isn't exactly any outsider, is he?
Oh, well, we are the intelligence department of the librarium. More importantly, please head to the NOL branch in the meantime.
In other words, the cathedral, where we're surely likely to run into Jin Kisaragi.
Headquarters? Why?
That's because this mission is that important and that confidential. We can't discuss it here. I'll catch up to you in due time.
Looks like this is where we part ways for the time being.
Understood.
So be it. And away we go. As I'm walking back to the office, my mind wanders into the past. Back to when I was at the academy.
Sir?
Yeah, Noel's days with Jin Kisaragi at the academy were, less than cordial, shall we say.
What is it?
Even though Jin actually, to his credit, had actually tried to actually put on a decent facade.
Where should I put these documents?
Just toss them over there or something. Or do you need to be told how to do that too?
But, even he had his limits.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Jin, go easy on her. She's just trying to be helpful.
There's, Tsubaki.
Jin's always on Noel's case, isn't he?
And Makoto. Noel Vermillion's, two best friends at the military academy.
Oh, it's okay. I was at fault. Don't worry about it, Tsubaki.
Yes?
Appears the student council has a visitor.
I'm Carl Clover, an underclassman here. The professor said to check with the student council and see if they needed help with anything.
A much younger Carl with a giant tome under his left arm. And interestingly enough, in the PSP version, his glasses are actually notably absent in this particular event, which is kind of an odd thing that I've noticed, but he's supposed to be wearing them since they are his trademark glasses.
I'm Tsubaki Yayoi. It's nice to meet you, Carl. I've heard about you from your professor. You're at the top of your class, aren't you?
And we actually finally learn Tsubaki's last name. And in the hierarchy of the NOL, the Yayoi family is actually one of the most premier families in the what is known as the Duodecim, which is a collection of royal families, of which I believe the Kisaragis are one, as well as the Vermillions, the family of which Noel Vermillion belongs to.
You give me too much credit.
Oh, is this the legendary Carl? He's adorable! Can I pat him on his head? Can I? Can I?
And Makoto is going more than a little overboard, methinks.
I...
He turned red. How cute!
Yeah, this is a bit of an awkward scene as far as Carl's concerned.
Makoto, stop that. Carl might get angry.
And yeah, you seem like you're enjoying this a little too much there, Tsubaki. And Jin trying to get things back down to earth.
Guys, this isn't a playground.
Yes, we're sorry.
Yeah, his scene is actually getting fairly awkward. But even Noel is having a bit of fun.
What's so funny?
Nothing. It just seemed like you two were having so much fun.
Is that so? You're a strange one.
I believe this is a case of the proverbial pot calling the kettle black. There, Jin. I thought those days would last forever. Everyone was so cheerful and warm and kind. But now, I know those days were always doomed to be a short, fleeting glimpse at happiness. Anyone who's gone to high school and graduated certainly can share that sentiment there, Noel Vermillion. I know I do. If you long for the past, you can never move forward to the future. And it's taken me a long time to learn that, but it's the truth, and very wise words of wisdom there. Is this what they call growing up? Or giving up? Depends on how you look at it, and it's time to save again.
I wonder what Tsubaki and Makoto are up to. I haven't seen them in a while.
We'll have to ponder that later, Noel, because it's time to end the episode, and when we return, we'll looks like Noel is continuing her investigation through Orient Town. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.